Today could be the day. I don't know.
Y'all, what is good, little gangsters? I think it's almost 7. I started walking about 15 minutes ago. I'm walking from my Airbnb to the McDonald's right next to the park. I'm gonna get myself a cinnamon roll and a bev. And then yeah, we're gonna see how it goes. I'm trying to get some sunrise pictures too. So I'm outside the ride. If you can see there, they are transferring the second car onto the track on X2. That's awesome. That means they're at least planning to open the ride today. So let's go. Let's go. Let's get in the park. We got an hour till it opens, but still, I think I'm gonna wait out here until it starts testing because I honestly have nothing better to do anyways. So yeah, but the second car is coming on there slowly. Okay, I know it's impossible to see because I decided to get in line to get into the park. But there's a train going up that lift hill. And one just went before it.
Alright, so spoiler alert, I was actually able to get on the ride, and while it was glorious and I can talk about it until I'm blue in the face, this park has so much more to offer. 20 roller coasters is a lot, and be rest assured, if you do like roller coasters, there will be something at this park for you. I'm not saying you'll be a fan of every roller coaster here, but the lineup is incredibly diverse. I'd say more so than probably any park in America. You want inversions? There's coasters for that. Intensity? No problem. Airtime? There's that in spades. But if you wanted to ride these coasters bad enough, you probably would have already done it, so I guess you're here for my opinion. Quick disclaimer, we do have 2 repeat offenders from last trip. We have Goliath and Superman. Both decided to not open again. I don't really think I'm missing out on much, but just noting. Also, I'm not doing the 4 kiddie coasters that are at the park because I don't care. Anyways, without further ado, here are the coasters of Six Flags Magic Mountain. Gold Rusher is a mine train. Once you've done one, you've pretty much done them all, but this one does have redeemable aspects. Mainly because you get a great view while you're on the ride, but it's still kind of a one and done for me. I will warn you though, the brakes pulling into the station were a little rough, but that's what a ride from 1971 will do. Revolution is by no means an outdated attraction. I imagine this was a lot of people's first looping roller coaster, and while it's nearing its 50th birthday, I expect it to be around for many more to come. Despite only having one loop, the rest of the ride is an adventure of the front of the park that provides great views of other attraction. You'll notice that's a theme at this park. While the ride doesn't really have a wow factor anymore, I still found that it provided a great ride experience every single time. Now, I may be a little biased, but coasters that end in lift hills just make me angry. Ninja starts at the top of the mountain and works its way down throughout the ride, but in order to make it back up to the station, it climbs a lift hill, which is immediately followed by the brakes. I understand why this was done, but it's just a buzzkill, and I don't even want to talk about the rest of the ride because the lift hill is just making me mad. With all that aside, this is actually probably my favorite aero suspended coaster out of the 3 that I've ridden. I've always found this to be one of the most unique coaster models due to the natural swinging of the cars. All of the elements execute well, but there's little diversity among them. I think the park did about the best job they could have, so truthfully no complaints for me, except for that damn lift hill. Riddler's Revenge really changed how I view stand-up coasters. Stand-up coasters can be enjoyable rides. It really just depends on where you sit and which ride you're on. The sample in the United States is small, but I've ridden Shockwave, Apocalypse, Green Lantern, and Vortex, and all of those were terrible. I have to say, Riddler's Revenge was just okay. There was nothing that overly impressed me with the ride, but it's overall solid and didn't bother me that much. Seeing a stand-up coaster that wasn't terrible was kind of a novelty for me. Scream is not a bad ride. I enjoy Scream more than I enjoy Dominator at King's Dominion, and I've been riding that since I was little. This ride looks atrocious in the parking lot, but honestly, I kind of like the vibe it gives off. This ride is a mirror image of Medusa at Six Flags Great Adventure, which was unfortunately closed when I was there, but I've heard a lot more positive reception about that ride. So I was a little confused when I got off Scream and didn't think it was that bad. The rattle in the back row was noticeable, but it was never something I complained about. I was only able to get one ride on Scream, but I dare say I enjoyed it. West Coast Racers was one of those weird coasters that opened up in 2020, where not a lot of people got to ride it in its opening year. I feel like this kind of dwindled the hype that was around it. Each individual track is just okay, but the fact that you get to do them both is a major bonus. With that said, I do not like these trains. These premier trains were sent straight from hell. Look at me. Look how thin I am. If I cannot fit in these trains, nobody can. I do not think it is too much to ask for just a couple extra inches per car. People have asked me which side is better, and honestly, I think there's no difference. But I do like the final inversion on the yellow side, which is probably my favorite element on the ride. This is a Batman clone, and in case you didn't know, there's a ton of these in America. After you've ridden a couple, you've pretty much ridden them all. Drop, loop, twist, loop, turn around, roll, and then the brakes. I did not think I was going to like Viper as much as I did, but out of every coaster at the park, this one pleasantly surprised me the most. I did not think Viper would be my favorite aero looper, even over Loch Ness Monster, but here we are. Viper actually has a lot going for it. It's a very smooth ride, something very uncommon for a ride with similar make and model. The drop is excellent and provides great views of whatever that is, while also being extremely comfortable. The only issue I have with the ride is towards the end. It crawls through those last corkscrews, and while I personally don't mind them, I see how other people would find that uncomfortable. This is the best aero looper I've ridden. People say full throttle is not a complete ride. I completely understand that. Like seriously, brakes on the drop, you couldn't have done better than this. I honestly think with a more complete ending, this is a top 4 ride in the park. The swing launch is one of the best executed on any coasters. This ran with one train during the majority of my visit, which got a little annoying, but this is just one of those times where you have to acknowledge you got a bad experience and you look at the ride for what it could be, instead of the little sample you have. Apocalypse is the best wooden roller coaster at Six Flags Magic Mountain. That being said, it's also the worst. The first time I rode this, I had ridden Ghost Rider the day before, so I think my frame of reference wasn't the best. When I came back though, my opinion changed. This is a very solid wooden roller coaster that executes how you'd expect it to. You can tell Magic Mountain takes very good care of this thing. The single rails that have opened in America have all been solid rides. I went into Jersey Devil at Six Flags Great Adventure expecting a ride like Wonder Woman at Fiesta Texas. I was a little disappointed. However, when I went into Wonder Woman at Magic Mountain expecting a ride like Jersey Devil, my expectations were blown away. The Raptor model experience will vary between each ride. The prototypes are focused more on intensity, and I think any more intensity would be borderline unenjoyable. The newer model, that of Wonder Woman at Magic Mountain, is much more drawn out. The abilities of the Raptor model are put on full display, something very unique to the general public. This ride does not have a dead spot on it. Every element just pops. I said this in the previous vlog, but I thought this was considerably better paced than Jersey Devil. Now, I doubt the extra foot of height attributes to that, but regardless, this was an absolutely perfect addition to this park. Many of you were probably expecting to see this ride in the 2 slot. Honestly, before my trip, that was my prediction. But that's not how things turned out. On my 13 rides on this, I did not duel once, although I did see one from outside the park. The only complaint I have is the lift hill between the 2 tracks. It goes slower, allowing for the train on the other track to catch up, but this still does not allow the coaster to duel most times. So instead it just becomes a buzzkill. A lot of people have asked me where I rank this among RMCs, and unfortunately it's just out of my top 10. RMCs are pretty similar, especially the small scale ones, so it really just comes down to which ride that I have the most fun on. Tatsu is the best flying roller coaster in North America. Well, I feel like this is a pretty well accepted opinion. This ride exceeded all expectations about what I thought about a B&M Flyer could do. When I think about my rankings of rides, I think to myself, what could they have possibly done to make this ride better? And really, what could they have done to Tatsu? Everything from starting at the top of the mountain to falling down the absolutely insane pretzel loop was executed perfectly. While also being the second most intense coaster at the park, Tatsu also provides the best views from any roller coaster at the park. Looking straight down at the ground from such a height is very nerve-wracking. This is the peak of thrill entertainment. What you are looking at here is a theme park marvel, and it's the best roller coaster design to ever be built. This coaster has issues, don't get me wrong, but everything about this ride is so perfect. It's closed a lot, but when I finally got on it, it made it even more special. This was the first roller coaster that when I went on it for the first time, I was a little nervous. I had absolutely no idea how it was going to feel, and I'd never been on anything like this at this scale. I'll definitely be making a separate video on X2 because it deserves its own breakdown, but I can't really express to you guys how much I enjoyed this ride. This is a once-in-a-generation coaster, and it should honestly be a federal offense if you don't ride it before you die. Magic Mountain is truly an incredible park with a coaster lineup rivaled by few in America. Both times I didn't get the best experience, but I still had the time of my life riding X2, which made everything worth it. Crowds here can go crazy, but if you go during the right time of the year, you can have a magical time. Thank you guys for watching this. I hope I inspired you to go to Magic Mountain. Even if I'm overhyping X2 a little bit, you'll still have a blast. I think that's about all I got, so I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.